Anasa hadn't dreamed peacefully in months. Every night since the accident, since the rain-slicked road, the twisted metal, the fire, and the death certificate, she had fallen into something far more vivid than sleep. Her dreams were not dreams, not entirely. They were doorways to him, to Match, the boy who had died in her arms. The dreams always began the same, her, barefoot in the middle of an empty road, asphalt cold beneath her feet, mist rolled around her ankles in thick, ghostly ribbons. Streetlights flickered overhead like dying stars. The air tasted of copper and roses, as though grief had a scent. And then he would appear. Match, not as he had been in life, laughing, carefree, flame-eyed, and full of trouble. No. In dreams he was stillness and shadow, a figure wreathed in fog and moonlight. His smile, however, hadn't changed. It was the same infuriating curve that made her stomach tighten with longing and dread. He never spoke, not at first. He would step toward her in silence, arms opening as if he had never left, as if he hadn't burned. Her body moved before her mind caught up. Always. She would fall into him. His hands would slide down her spine, anchoring her in a way reality never did. The kiss that followed was never hesitant. It was claiming, possessive, desperate, and she responded like a match struck in the dark. His mouth found her throat, her collarbone, her lips. His breath against her ear was hot and trembling. She felt the edge of his teeth, the gentlest scrape that bordered on hunger. Sometimes he whispered her name. Sometimes he groaned it. Their encounters grew longer, deeper. The intimacy between them became a language, spoken in moans and tremors, and the way her fingers clung to his shoulders as if letting go would undo the universe. She woke more often than not, flushed and shivering, her sheets tangled and damp with sweat. Her pulse thudded at the base of her neck like a war drum. But it wasn't the aftermath of a dream, because the marks were there, long finger-width bruises along her thighs, scratches blooming red on her hips. The scent of him, that maddening mixture of cedar, skin, and copper, lingered on her pillow, and sometimes muddy boot prints waited beside her bed. That morning, the sky bled gray. Anasa sat at the kitchen table wrapped in a blanket, her chamomile tea gone cold in her hands. She hadn't slept. Not really. Her skin still buzzed from the dream, from the way Match had looked at her like she was salvation or sin. But last night had been different. Last night he had spoken. "You have to remember," he had murmured against her mouth, voice low and rough, and breaking. "You have to wake up." Then he vanished. She had cried in her sleep, silent tears tracing her cheeks when she woke. A knock rattled the front door. She jumped. It was 6:13 a.m., far too early for anyone sane to be knocking. Her heart beat. Stumbled. Another knock. Slower, heavier, like it came from inside a coffin lid. She opened the door. No one, only the morning fog creeping over the porch, and a black envelope resting at her feet, sealed with red wax, thick and glossy like blood. Her name was written on the front in curling gold ink, Anasa. She opened it with trembling fingers. Inside was a photograph. Match, standing on the edge of a cliff, night sky yawning open behind him, wind in his hair, his eyes staring directly into the lens. Alive. The back of the photo said, 2 nights ago. Her legs gave out. The floor caught her. Her scream never made it past her lips. The rest of the day blurred. She clutched the photo like a talisman, replaying his voice in her head. "You have to remember." By evening, she couldn't take it. She walked back to the road from her dreams. In the real world, it was just a street on the edge of town, abandoned, overgrown, forgotten by maps. But when she reached the center, the streetlights flickered, and the fog rolled in, to be continued in Part 2, Echoes of the Hollow.